Hello and welcome to episode 26 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, we set up almost all the machines required to craft the classic Stargate. We also craft most of the subcomponents of the Stargate itself. Finally, we set up the new layered input style automation. Unfortunately, the Stargate itself will be completed next time due to budget cuts. As you just saw in the intro, I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out what exactly I need for the classic Stargate, and it is a significant step up in complexity and machines and just cost, but honestly, everything looks quite doable. So I don't know. I mean, you know at this point, because I've recorded the intro in the future for me, but in the past for you. So I don't know if I'm gonna get the classic Stargate today or not, but I am sure gonna try. As far as I can tell, to do this, I need 5 new machines. The component part assembly. This is crafted with a bunch of ZPM components, and it's used to make Stargate parts and also a couple of new things even later in the future. For right now, the main point is that I can make Stargate parts with it. Next, I need the large rotor machine, also made with some ZPM parts. Also needs advanced power thrusters, which I've never seen before, but these are very, very chill to make. They're like HV things. This is a unique machine. It has its own recipe map. It makes a bunch of rods, basically. And that's kind of it. After that, I have the vacuum chemical reaction chamber. Similar situation, made with ZPM parts and some NAC and some polycarbonate, which I haven't made before, but actually is pretty easy to make. I don't think I'm going to show the whole recipe tree for making this because it's just a bunch of LCRs, basically. The VCRC has its own recipe map as well. It only has 5 recipes in total. This seems to have its own unique mechanic of requiring partial vacuum. I don't know how that works. It says so in the tooltip, but we'll come back to it once I actually have one. This is used to make aerogel, which I need for the classic Stargate. Next up, I got the heat chamber. This one is useful for more than just making the Stargate. Similar situation with the recipe, doable. And it's used to make nether star concentrate, which is what I need for the classic Stargate, but I can also use it to make energized liquid blizz, and basalts, which allow me to do the best nether star loop. So that's nice. I might make 2 heat chambers, one for, well, I guess I only need one, huh? Anyway, that's the heat chamber. Cool looking thing. I haven't looked into the casings, but I can't imagine it's gonna be that difficult. Yeah, Inderium, chillin'. And finally, the Stargate component assembly, which I will lovingly call DTPF at home. If you've played GTNH. No, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, this is used to make the Stargate. All the Stargate blocks are crafted in here. I don't know if there's some unique mechanic in how this operates, but I guess we'll see. It does have perfect overclock, which is kind of cool. As you can see, this is a UV recipe, but it accepts up to 2 energy hatches, so I can tier skip into UV. I'm not sure I even need to be in UV to build this gate. Of course, it would be nice because there's new machines and stuff, but I'm going to see how far I can get. So I am going to get to patterning everything needed for all of these things. I'll also think about where I actually want to put this stuff. Probably like over here. This kind of makes sense. I've left out a bunch of space here. This is auto-crafting building. I don't know. It makes sense to me. But yeah, I'll be back. Time for some crafting. Starting with a couple of scans. I already scanned the ZPM assembler, which is what I needed for the component part assembly, which, by the way, is actually an assembly line, I think, not just an assembler. So the inputs, I think, have to be in order, but I guess we'll see. So I'm going to scan the rest of the stuff, a lathe, a gas collector, and an electric furnace, and that will get me 4 out of the 5 scans for 4 out of the 5 machines. 5th machine, the Stargate component assembly, needs one of the previous ones to get the item to scan in the first place. I've also patterned up everything else, and I will tell you right now, this is going to take a while. Okay, crafting up all of the stuff for the Stargate component assembly is going to take a little while, probably a few hours. But that's fine, because I've crafted all 4 of the other things in the meantime. It actually wasn't that bad. Didn't take that long. So, building montage? Now I have a couple more things to scan. All the different little bits and bobs that go into making the Stargate parts. Every single one of them needs a scan, pretty much. There's also one more machine that I haven't made yet, the runic circuitry assembly station. I suppose I could craft it, most of it. The only thing I'm not able to craft right now is this thing, the shrub blazer, beam concentrator, and emitter capable stellarium casing. Oh, emitter's misspelled. Anyway, this needs a runic wave generator, which needs some gems and stuff, and also some aerogel. And aerogel is a whole line, which is great. But I think I'm actually gonna pattern it. I'm turning into a pattern guy. This isn't good. But still, I think I am gonna pattern aerogel because I don't think right now, at least, it has that much use except for, you know, making the classic Stargate. So, it's fine. We'll talk about that line in a little bit. I also do quickly want to mention that the heat chamber here, would you believe this is a cube? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Height. It's 13 high. Yeah? Width. It's 13 wide. Length. It's 13 long. This is a cube. Behold. A cube. Anyway, what I actually wanted to say here is the energized nether star shards. I now have access to a better recipe for the autoclave. Instead of this top recipe with liquid blaze, I can instead do this kind of recipe with energized liquid blaze. And there's also energized variants of the other, you know, blaze variants, blizz, blitz. So there is a better recipe now. So my nether stars are going to be generated a little bit faster. About, what is it, like twice as fast? Approximately twice as fast. So that's pretty nice. There's also weapon grade Naquata, which I can blast in ZPM Trinium Coil EBFs. So, you know, honestly, I may as well just upgrade all of my HIFs to Trinium at this point. But the dust is actually pretty easy to make. It needs Trine Naquadalloy ingots, pure netherite dust, liquid Naquadria, and fluorine. And it's pretty slow, 60 seconds at ZPM mixer. But it's fine. Finally, the last thing I wanted to say is this machine, the large rotor machine. This has layered inputs. There's a quest here that explains how this works, and there's also a cover that you can use, sort of a utility cover that emits a redstone signal with some logic based on how the machine works. So I haven't figured this out yet. I haven't really tried to figure it out yet. I still want to hook up everything else and craft whatever I can without having to figure this out. Also do aerogel and stuff, and then I will be back with a solution for layered. This is gonna be interesting. But first, let's get some Stargate parts. Subparts. Some weapons grade NAC, a CSG plate and modulator, aerogel. Quest is done, but I need to go through and check mark all of these. To be honest, I don't really have anything to say about aerogel. It's a pretty straightforward pattern. It's just a ton of LCRs. The vacuum chemical reaction chamber didn't need any special automation. I just kind of patterned it and sent it, and it worked. It does say on the tooltip that the vacuum percentage is cut in half upon a recipe completion. So it's basically, it's gonna run, and then it's not gonna run while it recovers, and then it's gonna run, and it's gonna not run until it recovers, and repeat. So it kind of solves itself. You don't need any special logic here. I've also crafted up enough energy modulators. I needed 32 in total. 27 of them are going to get turned into field stabilizers. Still have to do that. I'm also crafting up reinforced plating. 92 in total. And I'm kind of just doing it in one machine. So it's going to take 3.5 hours. But I don't mind because that means I can play other games. I also never talked about these gems here. So I can make Naquatic netherite dust, which is a mix of cesium. I don't know if I have any, but I think I do. Pure netherite, Naquata, cerium, fluorine, and oxygen. It's a UV recipe, so I'm gonna have to tier skip to do this, and it's also really slow. Oh my god, it's like 6.5 minutes basically. I do have tons of cesium, so that's not an issue. But once I have that, I can make an exquisite Naquatic netherite by laser engraving up the chain, starting with the gem being implosion compressed from the dust. That is the scan object for the CSG chevron, and it's also used in the craft for the CSG chevron, so I'll need a couple of these. I will also be able to make runic laser source base dust. This needs Neptunium-237, which I haven't made yet, the aquatic netherite, and trinium. It's also a UV recipe, and it takes 10 minutes. Oh boy. Neptunium comes from centrifuging depleted nuclear fuel rods. There's two options. There's the AMR fuel rod, americium. I don't have americium. This is more of a chain going through the different fuel rods. But this one's a lot easier. LEU-238. It's just U-238. And it actually makes more neptunium than the AMR fuel rod. So this is kind of better. So that's how I'm going to get my neptunium. Then I laser up to the exquisite gem, same as before, with which I can make a runic wave generator. It's the scan object and it's used in the craft. And then this thing is used for the shrub laser beam concentrator casing. It's also used for other stuff much later on, but for now, this is kind of the only use. And once I have that, I can do the runic circuitry assembly station, and also the dimensional finder, which I don't think I actually need until I actually have a Stargate, but I may as well do it. So I'm actually going to need 2 of these shrub laser casings. I'm pretty sure, yeah, both the structures use it. So back to work. Here's the quantum core. I only need 1. And the runic wave generators. I only need 2. And let me tell you, these took a while and a half to make. Oh my god. These energy modules and the UH pick wafers. Fuck! But it's done. This means I can make the shrub laser casing. And then I can make the tool multis. So I'm going to craft these up as well. In terms of cost, honestly, nothing new. Kind of looks like more of the same stuff. So, oh, I've also made the first 2 CSG inscription plates. These are used to make CSG DPUs, dimensional processing units, and proto runes, which are used for the Stargate blocks. Both of these need the runic circuitry assembly station, so I need to do that first. And yes, I'm putting off the rods. I feel like that's a bad idea. I feel like this is actually going to take like a long time to finish. I guess we'll see. Hello, I found a structure definition bug. Look at this. On all the sides of this multi-block, this frame box goes here, 2 to the left of this Supreme Engine intake casing, except on one of the sides, it's offset by 1. So there's a mistake. That's funny. No one but me could have found this. Got my runes and DPU, and a computation matrix, a stellar dialer, 3 stellar access points, a dimensional supercomputer, the classic dial home device, the Stargate interface, and 9 CSG chevrons. Now this is my whole collection of CSG parts. I think this is actually everything I need except for the rods. So I still need to make the rods. These need layered inputs, remember? And it also needs a ton of blasting to happen. Like I need 485 rods, I think, which means I need so much weapons grade NAC, which is like, I think it's like 22,000 ingots of weapons grade NAC, which is going to take a long time blasting, which is why I've been doing that in the background, and I have a little more than 20,000 weapons grade NAC. I need to make some more still, but this is nearly all of what I need. I still have to blast all of the other alloys and netherite and all of that stuff, so there's still a lot of blasting that needs to happen, which of course is very, very power intensive. And so to help with that, I made some more power storage. Just a little bit more. Each one of these holds 32 billion EU. So yeah, it's a bit more power storage than what I had before. I'm surprised there's no way to really see like the total storage capacity. Well, I guess it's 45 times 32 billion, which is 1.4 trillion EU. That's a lot. I am gonna figure out layered inputs now. And once I have that going and I'm actually crafting the Stargate, then I'll set up the dimensional finder, get this Abydos inscribed coordinate crystal, and finish the Stargate. Okay, I have figured out layered. It's a little weird. I don't think my solution is really that good, but it works, and I'm pretty happy with it. And it's scalable, so that's nice too. Just to recap what this actually needs, for any given recipe, I need to supply step 1 first, and only the inputs of step 1, then only the inputs of step 2, then only the inputs of step 3. I can provide step 2 inputs while step 1 is going on, but not when the recipe check actually happens. So the way I've done this is I've split up the recipe into 3 parts, which makes sense. And if this was a 4 or 5 part recipe, I could add more over here, and I think this should still work. Each of these drives has a 16K dual storage cell, so I can store items and fluids in one drive. I don't know why I haven't been using that until now, but there you go. And each of these drive plus terminal combos is its own subnet. I should probably paint them to make sure they're visually distinct, like that. And each of these has an interface on the top with a pattern provider. This pattern provider stores patterns that are custom encoded for each step. So CSG rod base 1 is the first step of CSG rods, base 2 is the second step, and base 3 is the third step. So it's a little annoying to pattern, but I can live with it, it's fine. There's not that many recipes anyway. This is all connected to the mainnet. On the bottom, I have toggle buses. These are turned on based on which step is ongoing on the machine. So when there's nothing in the machine, like right now, when it's idle, the first one is on, so the white channel. Then once I start crafting, this will turn off and the second one will turn on, so the orange channel, and then on the third step, the third one turns on. This little subnet basically pulls the items into the machine. That's all it does. And based on which toggle bus is on, it pulls a different set of items. One part of the magic happens over here in the back with the bus converter. I have on this large rotor machine 2 covers. On this side is a layered step detector set to strong signal and normal. The strong signal allows the signal to pass through the block, so that's why the bus converter doesn't need to directly touch the controller. What the bus converter does is it takes a signal, and based on its strength, it outputs a new signal to a different channel. So currently there's no signal, so the signal strength is 0, so I get a signal on the white channel. If the signal strength was 1, as it would be during the first step of a layered process, the orange channel would light up. If the signal strength was 2, the magenta channel would light up. And if the signal strength was 3, the next one would light up. And the order for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is basically given on this tags page for insulated wire. So it's white, then orange, then magenta, then light blue, then yellow, then lime, and so on. I don't think I need more than 5, maybe 6 for the whole game. But yeah, so based on which step is going on, you get a different signal strength, and based on that strength, a different next channel is opened up for the next set of inputs. So that's how inputs are handled. As for actually patterning the rods and dealing with like the fake patterns like the paper, that's what this little jank setup is. This is the part that I think is ugly. This part I think is nice. But the way this works is I have this pattern provider with the actual pattern for the rods themselves. And it basically says step 1, step 2, and step 3 make the final product, right? And if I make a request, it pushes all the step 1 stuff in here, all the step 2 stuff in here, and all the step 3 stuff in here. And okay, I have to say this choice of sound effect is questionable. Anyway, what happens now, as you can see, is papers are being cycled in and out. And that happens in these 2 MEIO ports. So this is what the second cover is for, the activity detector cover. While a craft is going on, this emits a signal, and while there's the signal, I basically just keep cycling the paper in and out of the system to kind of force complete the pending craft, like that. And now all 3 of them come back, and it's just going to keep cycling until it's done. And the reason I use MEIO ports is because this is going to have a lot of paper eventually for all the different steps for all the different crafts, and I need to be able to cycle it quickly. So this top MEIO port moves to output when work is done, and it transfers from the chest into the cell. And then we pull with this item pipe always into this next IO port where we empty the cell and move to output when it's empty. So all the paper gets put back into this chest. Crucially, it goes through the mainnet. So the mainnet thinks, oh, the craft is done, and then it tries to store the different papers, and I have this storage bus set to 1,000,000 priority, so it always goes into this chest. And yeah, that's how it works. It's pretty jank and kind of gross and really hard to explain. But basically this is force completing the sub-steps of the craft. I can't use autocomplete cards because that just marks the entire craft as complete, which is going to break the system. It has to only complete the specific sub-step. So I kind of had to set up this jank. But it works, and I am not limited to only ordering 4 at a time. I can actually do as many as I want. So I'm actually going to request 400. This is going to take a while. It takes about 2 minutes for 4 rods, and I just requested 400, so that's 200 minutes. I'll be back in 3.5 hours. And that's just for the rods. After that, I need to make the raw Stargate rods, which needs even more stuff. It's going to be a while. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will set up the Stargate component assembly to finally finish crafting the classic Stargate. And we will enter Abydos. I have no idea what to expect. That should be fun. See you next time.